And joining me in studio now to talk about what this means for the political landscape, our Honorable Peter Mathuki. He is the MP in the East African Legislative Assembly, also the Deputy Secretary General of Wiper. Also have Honorable Abdikadir Aden, the MP from Balambala, and he is an ODM politician, and Professor Macharia Munene. He teaches history and international relations at USIU. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me.
You.
Let's begin with the heat in NASA that, of course, was admitted by Mudavadi. What does this mean? Because your party leader, Kalonzo Musyoka, Mr. Mathuki, now declared his interests of wanting to run as president for Wiper. Does this scuttle any chances for NASA?
No, I don't think so at all. To me, this is democracy. And I think that is what NASA stands for. Of course, we have 4 principles in NASA. And what we are saying is that all of them have capacity, are able, and they are willing to lead this country. And therefore, by Kalonzo doing what he's done, I think it's a matter of procedure. It's a process that is required by all the candidates, that before you become indeed a flag bearer of NASA, you must get clearance from your party. Mm-hmm. And that is what His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka did. Obviously, in December, when we had our delegates conference, Kalonzo Musyoka was cleared by the delegates conference of Wiper to go for presidency. And therefore, as a matter of procedure, again, as required by law, he came to the party with other documents. Before, again, you are cleared as a candidate. Mm-hmm. There are a number of things that you must make sure that indeed you have, and that's what Kalonzo did, to make sure that in fact he qualifies, first of all, as a candidate before anything else, and that's what he did. And therefore, any talks out there, it's all, I don't take it serious.
We've heard some in Wiper say, though, that if he is not declared the NASA flag bearer, that they're out.
I don't think so. I may not have heard of that, but what I can tell you is that that is a position of Wiper, and anyone is entitled to their opinion, and we say the option 4. As Wiper, yeah. The option is Kalonzo Musyoka, and the second option is Kalonzo Musyoka. And so is the third option.
And Honorable Aden, out of the ODM camp, what do you make of this move by Wiper?
I think everybody in the... First of all, let me say that we should not misunderstand the words or the message by Honorable Musalia Mudavadi. Yeah. I think when he says there's a hit, it means there's competition. Mm-hmm. And competition is healthy. In any process like this, where stakes are high, you will expect competition to be there. So that exactly, to me, is nothing to worry about. On the issue of Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka, I think I agree with Mheshimiwa here very much. It is nothing more than the procedure to also up his stakes, because there is something up for grabs. There are party members who've got to be convinced that there is going to be a process for selecting who is going to be the flag bearer. I think what we are seeing here is competition. And sometimes when there is competition, if you are not wise enough to keenly observe, you might be misled to think that there is division. Well, I don't see division.
Professor, these two gentlemen are speaking from one side of the political divide. What do you make of these moves in NASA? Could it hurt or help the coalition?
Well, the person who is most concerned about the welfare of NASA is the one who said there is heat, because he created it. Mm. It is his baby. You like to see it flourish. Mm-hmm. And it's true that there is a lot of heat because at least 2 of them are not willing to budge. It's clear that Musalia Mudavadi and Moses Wetangula might be willing to play second tier. Mm. But Raila Odinga and Kalonzo Musyoka are hell-bent on getting this thing one way or the other. And that's where the problem is, because if Kalonzo does not get it, he's politically finished. Mm-hmm. If Raila does not get it, he's in a mess. And they both know that. And what we've been seeing is very interesting games being played left and right. The other day they were supposed to meet somewhere in Karen, and suddenly Raila became sick and disappeared to South Africa and then to the US. And so it's a game. It's a big game. And to a lot of people, is the candidate that is likely to be the one is Raila Odinga. The others are joyriders, supporters.
But another factor playing into all of this was a 2013 MOU that was signed between Kalonzo and Raila. Yeah. And the agreement was that in 2013, should Raila take it, he would hand over power to Kalonzo in 2017. How much bearing does that MOU have? I'll go to you.
I would say, obviously, in 2013, there was an MOU that again was deposited, legislative political parties, and that is for a fact. Of course, somebody may want to argue this time around, of course, we have NASA. But all that I can say is that there's a committee that is actually responsible for these negotiations. And those are some of the facts they have, I'm sure. And therefore, with all their wisdom, I'm sure a number of other parameters, that being one of them, they may be willing to look at it and say, obviously, in these 2013, this was the situation. And therefore, we may want to change who is the penalty this time around. Right. And therefore, that could be one of those, but it's nothing at all to worry. And that cannot be read by anyone. Obviously, the professor, when he says that Kalonzo is politically finished, he doesn't get it. Far from it. Far from it.
Okay.
Far from at all. Far from it. Kalonzo has served this country in various capacities, and we must appreciate that. Okay. For what he's done for the country, that alone, you know, you can't say somebody if he doesn't get this or get fish and stuff. Right. So it's neither here nor there, but we are in NASA, and that's the position. And the option in this particular Kalonzo is Kalonzo. And
let's move to a story about the intrigues in your party, Honorable Mathuki, the Wiper Party, a key stakeholder in the NASA coalition. All right, Honorable Aden, let me get your reaction to that, because you have the Ukambani voting bloc, which is about 2 million voters strong. You have Kalonzo, who has over 30 years experience in public office. Is he a viable candidate to take the NASA ticket?
Let me say that I think every one of the core principles of NASA is capable of taking the flag, to become the flag bearer for NASA. And Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka is not an exception to that. Of course, the process is ongoing, and the considerations will be made who amongst the leaders will be able to give us, or to be able to get us more votes from across the country. Let's not misunderstand Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka. Let's not misunderstand the competition in his party. Wiper is lately, I must say, they're doing a good job. They've become a bit more vibrant than it's been before. And admittedly, I will expect when such a vibrance is seen in a party, members within it will be struggling for visibility, for positions, for positions in the party, and to be accepted in the party. So, and I think they are making that push. What they are doing is, for some of those members want to be seen popular, and the way to do it is to say, Kalonzo must be the one who must be the flag bearer. Kalonzo must be the one. But let me tell you that, knowing Steve for the time I have known, he's a very sober man. In no doubt, I don't think at all he will be the one to compromise this hope which is emerging for Kenyans, which is the hope of NASA government. And I want to tell you that he will surprise many of us. Right. In being the one that becomes the strongest of bonds within NASA, whether he is declared or not. I am certain that declaration of Honorable Raila Odinga as a flag bearer will not be a problem at all to Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka. After all, he's a senior politician, and he knows very well that if he goes alone, then where is he going to? Right. You know, do we get to the dream that we want? The answer is no. So I'm sure he's firm inside. He's struggling for position, and it's the rightful thing to do, but there is due process on. Let's not misunderstand him for now and accuse him.
And Honorable Mathuki, do you feel that this open show of his interest for the ticket could hurt a relationship with ANC and ODM, who are also in NASA, as well as Ford Kenya?
No, I don't think at all. One thing we must appreciate, that Wiper as a party is growing in leaps and bounds, and we must appreciate that. And therefore, in any party that is growing, in a party that actually would appreciate democracy is one of the key ingredients, then we must see all these things happening. And therefore, whatever we are doing as a party, that is what we are supposed to do. We can't do anything less. If you read in today's paper in the Standard, you saw Honorable Orengo says, as ODM, they will present Raila, and Raila is a choice. And that is expected, and we appreciate that. And that is very normal. And therefore, what I'm saying, all that is happening within NASA and the coalition, the parties and stuff, is nothing to worry anyone. All that I can tell you, NASA is the next government come elections of August 8th, 2017.
And Professor, do you buy this as healthy competition?
I think there is a point there. It's good to have some competition, internal competition.
Yeah.
Some of the words come out very clearly, and it's vibrancy. There's no question about that. That does not remove the fact that there's a lot of problems within Wiper. I think Wiper people are very happy that we are even talking about it, because that's free publicity. The others, ODM and Ford Kenya and Amani, would probably want to have people talking about them the way we are talking about Wiper, because it's kind of mileage. So the internal competition is healthy, but it also indicates serious friction. The statement by Senator Mudama, actually very disparaging to a fellow colleague, to Kivuza Kibwana. The comment by Chairman Musila is not, does not indicate that this is a healthy party, although there is a lot of vibrancy, but the party is not as healthy as it would want to be. And Kalonzo has made it very clear, repeatedly, that if he doesn't get it, he's not going to be very happy about it. So let's not beat about the bush. He's made it clear. It's either him or something else.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit here. We just saw a story of Joho and other ODM allied coast leaders going around on a charm offensive in the region. And it would seem that they are catching up with the president, trying to play catch up with him, because he was there a week before, and now they're trying to at least scuttle what he tried to do. What do you make of that? Is that what they're trying to do there?
Not at all. I think what Governor Joho and the other governors are doing is to take a tour of the coast region, because there's been this misperception lately that coast is moving away from ODM into other zones, and the reality is that actually that's very far from the truth. So what they have been doing is to go around and to popularize the party, to ensure that they are with our supporters on the ground, as they have always done. It's not their first time to do that kind of thing. It's just by chance that the president was there not too long ago, but that's their region. They are the governors of that particular regions. There is nothing strange at all in what they are doing, and admittedly, ODM is the most popular party in that region, no doubt about it.
Right. And someone would ask, why then do you need to do a tour?
You know what? It is the election time. This is the election period time, and as politicians, we do this time and again. You will visit a place and you are there again and again and again. And the reason you do that is just to make sure that there's no misperception. You are with your people in this last-minute critical, point. So really, Governor Joho and Governor Kingi and the other governors with them are doing a good job, and they are in strong ODM zones. If anything, you want to say, let them celebrate, because I see celebrations.
And speaking of another ODM governor, Nairobi Governor Evans Kidero has challenged Jubilee aspirants in the gubernatorial contest to come up with formidable candidates to face him in the August polls. Kidero expressed confidence in retaining the seat, adding that the National Super Alliance will field only one candidate in the coming party primaries. Take a look.
Tunataka a whole human being ndio tuwashinde vizuri. Mtu asikuje kama amevunjika aseme hakuwa sawa sawa ndio ameshindwa. Let them go through the nominations in peace, in respect, wasitupiane maneno, wasitukane, na once they've decided on who's going to face us in our coalition, we'll be ready for them, and Nairobians will be ready.
Professor, is the governor feeling the heat, so to speak? We now have Senator Sonko officially in the race. What do you make of his comments?
It's an interesting twist, because now Kidero is sounding like Uhuru and Ruto. At the national level, Uhuru and Ruto have been telling these NASA people, get your act together. Now in Nairobi, Kidero is telling Jubilee, get your act together. So they're different levels. I don't think he's in the same position that he was. He has a substantial number of votes on his side, given by the last record. That is not a guarantee that he will win. But it's interesting to see him joke about the disarray in Jubilee.
Yeah.
And then let me comment on the coast thing. it is true that Governor Joho is simply reacting to the Jubilee infiltration. That is true. But it's also something else that is emerging. He's carefully crafting himself as the natural leader of the people of the coast, trying to take over the position that used to be held by Ronon Gala, and to some extent Karisa Maitha. And it's very clear. That's why some people are calling him the Sultan, which is a title we don't have in Kenya. But so what he is doing, apart from just defending or responding to the Jubilee influence, is to consolidate his hold on everybody else at the coast. Now, the extent to which he will be able to do that in the long run will remain to be seen, but he's very carefully doing that.
And that probably in preparation for 2022?
Yes, of course, he's got his eyes on somewhere higher.
Right.
And 2022, if not 2022, then maybe 2027. So he still has time.
Honorable Aden, you wanted to respond?
Yes, my response was going to be on the one of Governor Kidero.
Yeah.
But on the cost one, let me just say that no doubt that Honorable Joho is an emerging leader, undisputed leader, and we the Muslim community see him as our future leader. It's not just a person crafting himself as a leader in cost. We pledge our loyalty to him as an emerging leader for the Muslim bloc, and that is a big, formidable part of Kenya. Let me say on the issue of Governor Evans Kidero, I think he's having a good laugh at the Jubilee, and that's a perfect thing to do. We've not had any doubt that we might ever lose the Nairobi seat as CORD or as ODM. That's our seat. Naturally, we will always, and we were always comfortable, even if Jubilee brings one person, we have no any fears at all that we will knock them off. But look at the way Jubilee is presenting itself. With the two candidates of that potential, it's something to laugh about. And I join him in his celebrations. I think he must be a smiling man.
All right.
His will be the easiest victory.
And very quickly, Honorable Mathuki.
Nairobi, is a government. It's a coalition government, I would say, between ODM and Wiper. And that is why we are saying we are keen as NASA to ensure that we retain that. And obviously, Nairobians can say that they cannot allow, given what is happening by the Jubilee administration nationally, to allow again such a mess at the county level. So what I can tell you is that NASA, and we are keen, we are careful, we know that of course we train such a seat. But again, there's something Professor talked about Senator Musalia Mudavadi. I said, the reason why you see such leaders speak with a lot of freedom is because Wiper, we believe in democracy. Is one of the parties, in fact, everyone now, and that's why they are coming, it's growing, and people are coming in to say, yeah, this is one of the most democratic parties, where you can express your views without issue. There's some parties, in fact, when you are party leader coughs, you are not even supposed to question what they're saying. And that's not the case in Wiper. Therefore, whatever Senator Musalia is saying and Senator Mudavadi is saying has nothing to do with issues within Wiper. Wiper is actually one of the healthiest parties we have in this country.
All right. Now, a section of leaders from Mandera County are set to formally launch a political party. They intend to wrestle power from Jubilee in the county. The Economic Freedom Party is being spearheaded by a former Rift Valley Provincial Commissioner, Hassan Nur Hassan, who enjoys the backing of the Mandera Council of Elders. The group's formation in Mandera signals a new battle front for the county's leadership. Last year, the Council of Elders had come up with a lineup for the August elections, dismissing many of the elected leaders, including the current Governor Ali Roba. The Economic Freedom Party is hoping to dilute Jubilee's influence in the region that voted 98% for President Uhuru Kenyatta in 2013. The team fell out with Jubilee after President Kenyatta allegedly refused to support their lineup. All right, so what do you make of this new party trying to take away at least the influence from Jubilee in that region? Let me start with you, Honorable Aden.
Let me say one thing. This whole phenomenon of parties being created is honestly a Jubilee making. And I tell you, it's going to be their biggest undoing. One of the places it's going to hurt the most is like this city of Nairobi. Jubilee has created many small briefcase parties, which many of the people who they think cannot fit in this one outfit called Jubilee, because I think it was a terrible mistake to try and bring Kenyans into one party. Now they have realized so. And now they're trying to create briefcase passes where they can pack people. And that packing of people is going to give them their biggest undoing, and the reason for us to celebrate in many of the areas where we're going to take some of those seats, obviously. In the case of Mandera, it's an interesting development. We know what's happening in Mandera. These were people who are given a mandate by the so-called Council of Elders. And they have been confronted by a very serious challenge. The story out there, the truth of the matter is that they have been told, unless you support Jubilee, we will rig you out.
Okay.
So they have feared to join other formations.
So they're being blackmailed, essentially.
Completely blackmailed, and that's what's happening in many parts of northern Kenya and in many other parts of Kenya. So what they have done is comfortably try and fit themselves into some party with some form of allegiance to the Jubilee administration, so that they survive that fear of being rigged out. Which I personally think it is a shameful thing to think about in a modern day Kenya, a democracy which is over 50 years old, which has had successful elections in all these years. For somebody to go on a blackmail on leaders, to force them into supporting them. And by the way, how does packing those leaders or aspirants into small parties, does it guarantee them any votes at the presidential level? It doesn't at all.
Honorable Aden, I have to stop you there. Thank you so much. Thank you, Honorable Mathuki, Honorable Aden, and Professor Macharia for coming in.